So, where is it here? Okay, so I call it opportunity and innovation. And there's a little bit of, a lot of little small opportunities that I see that ask us to take action though. So let's just go ahead. Energetic overview is that in the spring, we have all planets direct, and it will feel as if we have a lot of wind in our sail. And in the fall, retrograde city. So we have Venus is going retrograde in October. So then we will feel more introspection in terms of relationships and finances. Mercury is also going retrograde. So up to 6 planets will be retrograde in the fall. That will feel a little more like staggery and not as easily and slowly going ahead. It will feel more yang in terms of having most of the outer slower planets in masculine signs, and that is outgoing, that is expressive, and the only counterbalance then is Jupiter in Cancer only until summer, because Jupiter will go into Leo then, and then Chiron in Taurus, which is going in June. So it's the summertime where we have the little like handing over the baton. And so I first want to start looking at Chiron. I think with all my research that Chiron really had a message, I would say, because I did a lot of, I looked way back and seeing that we as a humanity, we have made wrong decisions along the way. So right now with Chiron and Taurus, we have another opportunity coming up, taking better care of the planet, of ourselves, and the environment. So Chiron, the wounded healer, of course, is the what's it called? When half horse, half centaurs, thanks. So the centaur, and so he got shot, and then he had to give his liver in order to be relieved of the pain, and he became immortal. He became mortal. So that way, Prometheus gave him a constellation as to make even. So, but he is known for being a healer and also an astrologer, and so that's the archetype that he's dealing with, like herbal medicine and music also. Music, vibration, tunes, I see as the future also of healing, as a side note. And so these topics of herbalism, homeopathy, and alternative medicine, Reiki, which is also vibrational energy healing, I think that will come up a lot. And that will be gaining a lot of traction in 2026. Then, so here we go. We had, so as Steve already did, we always look back in order to see, really take a few steps back. That means not the last time Chiron was in Taurus, for example, but even the time before and the time before. So we look a couple of centuries back. So that was the first, the heart implant. It is about mortality, of course. So when you get your heart revamped, you don't die. So it's kind of like prolonging your life. Then we had primary health care was improved a lot. People would with disability got better rights. And then the naturopathy picked up. But at the same moment, the other side, the farmer side, stepped in. They said, okay, this is cheap. It's only herbs. It's nature. Wait a minute, we cannot make any money on that. So there was definitely a lot of money behind the farmer, and they tried to get to restrict practitioners and made it also the products, not only practitioners, but they kind of held a short rein on the products and the practitioners. So what else was there? It was at the same time as natural healing would take off. this same was like creating a consumer society, the beginnings of GMO and chemical fertilizers, pesticides, and all this, and fast food. So it was really this decision point where they provided it, meaning the corporations, fast food and all this, and then the movement where people remembered permaculture and farming, natural farming. So that's like this junction where you had to make a decision, even though it is more difficult to go the natural way. So then when I looked back, and this is at my end getting like really small now, but so I went to 1926 to 34, and that time saw the Great Depression. Guess what? People had really scarcity of food, and they just tried to survive. The penicillin was discovered, but it was only later mass produced together with the sulfur drugs, so they could prolong lives in the Second World War. And then we had the U.S. Dust Bowl that made the farming land unusable in the early 30s. So farmer lost their economic standing and the ability to eat off the land and also provide to people. And then, of course, land redistribution. So it's all about the land and what we grow in the land, Taurus. Taurus stands for the body, feeding yourself from the field. And then in the next period, 1876 to 1884, we had when industrial food preparation took off, and they decided to put chalk and flour and copper salts in greens to make them look nicer, and borax as preservatives. And the moment when people found out, of course, they were upset. And the good thing is that by then, or with that, it moved the decision makers to come up with more safety laws and consumer protection. So then the other thing, because Taurus is not only about the land, it is also about money in our pocket, money in the bank. So it's finances. It's all things valuable. Venus ruled. And then we had the extreme wealth polarization. Does that sound familiar to some of you? So where it goes like drastically apart, the elites they made the money with railroad, steel, and banking. We probably know all those names that are still around and still doing very well in banking. And then on the other end, the very low paid workers. Next, or the earlier period before that was 1779 to 87. That was the UK enclosure. So people had to get their land patch and like fence it in. So the like roaming farmers, the peasants, they were not be able to live off the land anymore. Monocropping was leading later on to the potato famine in Ireland. Lots of people had to migrate unless they did not even die before they had the chance to go away. Then, okay, herbalists and natural healers were still around, but then it started already becoming more difficult. So if you just were a healer and your grandma taught you, then you were kind of like looked down from the nose or not even accepted as a healer. And then finally, in the past, in the ancient astrology, most of you know that know about astrology and medical astrology. First of all, the humoral and holistic ideas. So humor, you look at the body fluids, the blood and the bile, black bile, yellow bile. So doctors would take into account the body fluids for healing and looking at urine and all this. So, but it was then the time when it went more into anatomy and pathology and more scientific. And so that's the past. Now that Taurus is coming back, we now, having looked into the past, we can now make more intelligent decisions. Like, is it really better and more convenient to have fast food, or to trust the companies that provide food, even if they put heart healthy on the package, can we trust it? So basically we have to go with magnifying glasses to the store and then read the fine print. I'm a label reader. I've been eating, separating carbohydrates and proteins for over 30 years, probably closer to 40, and I still do read labels, but man, it is getting more and more difficult. I want to know what I put in my mouth, because it's such an intimate thing, like the food that you take in, and we become like the food. And so we cannot be like monks or so and pure, only like raw and whatever. And we don't have the money to eat only organic food or so. But so we have to find a compromise with that. So of course, Chiron in Taurus, each time humanity pays a price, whether it's related to food, land, or our bodies, and it's creeping on, like with the intoxications of the land. Also, when we look back, like when there were wars, all the gasoline, the diesel engine that goes into the ground, slowly intoxicating the soil. So our antidote is vote with your fork. And man, I was volunteering for a company in at the expo in San Francisco once, and they gave me a T-shirt that said "Vote with your fork," food declaration organization or so, and that's really my mantra. I love it. And read labels and choose quality over quantity. Invest in what sustains life. I know we all want to make money, but it is really worth it. What are they doing with nature? What are they doing with our planet? We only have one, and then. And then go out in nature because it vibrates. It does vibrate. Of course, we know that the earth has a constant low vibration. So just going barefoot will help. And use astrology to know your body, because all the signs for you ladies that are new, all the body parts and the signs are, they have a relationship. So you can see, and I think I picked up that someone was talking about the feet with Pisces. So we can kind of map out our body based on our chart and then feed it. And actually that is Kathy Richard. Yeah. Did you see her? Yeah. You know her, right? Yeah, I got her. Okay. And so the next one is Uranus contacts. Because I did the whole year, I overloaded my charts, and I cannot see. Oh yeah, I can see here. I want to bring you to, I do a little stop in between here. The nodes are shifting this year also. I will do a deeper dive with the Uranus. That's the Uranus, I think, speaks really loud to me, not only because I'm in the third decan of Gemini, which is really Uranian, but also that all the contacts that Uranus makes, it's like really Uranus is shaking a lot of hands. Little sextile hands. Sextile is a opportunity connection that is not really like, here, take it all, it's all flowing. That's the trine that is more like a flat flowing, and there's a good trine also, but they're little scattered helpful contacts that Uranus does make, and Pluto and Saturn. So they do that, but I want to jump that part. I will do a deep dive. I will have it on my website and YouTube also. If you want, we can hit me up and we can do another extended version also. But right here, my time is limited. But it's important. I think you should know that we are changing in the summer from Pisces Virgo, which was all about spirituality versus too much in your head, to Aquarius Leo. Leo is the heart, and it's really also the nobility. So it's the monarchs, the king. Leo is the Leo kingdom. And Aquarius is cool, detached, eye level, friendly, and collaboration. That's where the North Node is in Aquarius, detached, helpful, community thinking. And away from the Leo, it's helpful to take the good sides and the good qualities of Leo, which is generosity. A king can be really generous. Of course, king should have an interest in having all the people in the kingdom happy and healthy, so they pay taxes and all this. But still, the focus or the guide, the pointer should lead us to Aquarius, detachment, scientific, objective. And that is what I want to mention real quick. Then the eclipses, I have to say there's interesting stuff with Maduro and also with the US chart, but maybe if I get through with the Mayan, because that's really what is at my heart also, what I want to share. Maybe if there's time, I can jump back to the eclipses. So the Mayan perspective. Every year I have been looking at the like, what is the year bearer? Every year is there's a year bearer for every year. The Mayans give a direction, east, north, west, south, and a number from 1 to 13 to each of these year bearers, and they all have a meaning, a characteristic, a symbolism. So, and then they have their astrology goes with the 20 signs. Only 4 of them rotate to make a year bearer every year. Quickly, I jump to this one before I go back to the year bearer to just show you the like where we have been coming from. So last year we were snake, the Chinese year of the snake, and it's kind of the energetic equivalent to Virgo, and the fire, the element is earth, snake, earth, Virgo, earth, and the direction per the Mayan tradition is the north. I have to say here quickly before I continue, I have seen all around my neighborhood, north is supposed to be a barren year. The sun never really travels in the north. It rises in the east, it travels in the south, and then sets in the west from Aries point and setting in the Libra point, the west. And so I see all the gardens barren. The tree, my neighbor's tree, the orange tree, they had to save it, and it's now coming back. So that was last year, and then we have the year bearer was Ik, the god of wind. Now we are entering the horse year. That's all about action, masculinity, outward projection. You take action actually, and then fire horse. So that goes hand in hand with all the outer planets going into masculine signs in 2026. Then this is equivalent to Libra, and in terms of the element, we have air, also masculine element. So it's all about connecting. Aquarius is air, and Steve has shown we have Pluto in Aquarius, staying there for a long time, all together 20 years. So that's 2 decades. And so here we have the West, and that is more fertile. It's warmer. The West is where the sun sets. So it is in the astrology for you ladies that are new. The chart, so you have 12 sections, which are called the houses, and the sun rises in the east where Aries is assigned, and it sets where Libra is assigned. So, and then last thing is the god of the year, the bearer of the year is Manik, and then we hop back to this one. Now with this knowing this, we can look at what is the year bearer about. It is influencing agriculture, weather, and leadership only. So it is more what's called mundane, not so much personal horoscope. And then it's the year in Mayan tradition starts in March 20. It's not always 20, March 30th. So it's not always the 30th, can be the 31st. So this year it will be on the 30th. And it's, as I said, it's 2 West Manik. And Manik stands for collaboration, Libra, social interaction, Libra, community, consciousness, like the we thinking, we, not me. And the number 2 is the god Ka, and it's the god of sacrifice, duality. That sounds to me a little Gemini. It's doubt. It's because it's the head is always like doubting, because there's the solution, but there's also the doubt. And then it's the contrast, unity. It's like it feels Gemini to me, and it says unfortunate time. So it's from old delivered delineations of the Mayans. So when I see that, there's, I mean, as we see, or as we have seen, there's decision. So we have opportunities. We have to make a decision. Do we act on the opportunity, or do we let it go because it's too inconvenient or so? So we have the choice. And so everything is polar. So when we people have intentions and a collective dream that we want to follow and materialize, manifest, Neptune, Saturn conjunction. And then there's another group that has other interests, like using our energy, having us purchase their goods and services. So there's a market. But here's the thing. When the group that has the good intentions and they want the good for everyone, and the other group that wants to take advantage of other people, so it's unethical, and we have a year that is humpy and bumpy, then this is a good thing, because we have to crack these structures that are not working for us anymore. And I think, hands up, when you think that there were, like, we have discovered things where our leaders don't necessarily have the best interest for us in mind. So in terms of healthcare, in terms of taxation, and it's not that, I mean, they try to get the most of us, and they try to get us as alive, so we are returning customers in the doctor's office, rather than saying, like, take vitamin C, go out in the sun, don't walk barefoot. So that's what I'm talking about. And so with the number 2 god, Ka, so I think that's the necessary like the shakeup that is necessary to leave these old structures, to crumble them a little more and get out of them. West, as I said, it's a little Libran, but here it says wild, losses, illness, and cloudy and evil. With the Neptune, in my research, I say this. I say, be as fit as you can this year and the following years. And because Neptune is toxins, so we have to be as strong with our immune system as possible. Let's hop to the Venus phase, because that's, for the Mayan, is very important. So I did it in a chronological order. And so 18th of November last year, we were in the superior conjunction. So first of all, I should start with the little story of Quetzalcoatl. All these people that have been returning to our forecast, they know the story probably, but there are also new people on Zoom land. So Quetzalcoatl is the god. So he was born. His mother swallowed a piece of jade, and she got pregnant, and little Quetzalcoatl was born, and he became the king of the kingdom, and it flourished until he was so absorbed by his spiritual practices that he kind of like did not get what's happening out in the kingdom, and they went a little hedonistic, and then so all of a sudden a couple of sorcerers showed up, and they said, like, hey, look into this mirror, so you have really changed a lot. And then he looked in the mirror and he found, like, oh, I really look different, and we can beautify you again. So just have a couple of shots of pulque, which is like a tequila, like a schnapps, a drink. And so he downed them, and he got intoxicated, and he started dancing, and he was drunk. He then woke up the next morning, and he realized he had committed incest with his sister. So he noticed that, and he realized that, and he felt the shame, and he punished himself, and he went away. And then some versions of the story go, he goes on a boat and sails off to the east, and another story says he burns himself. So he builds like where the witches were burned, and he burns himself, and then he rose from the ashes, and he became a god again. So that's the story, that's the cycle. And I think it's important, because we humans are kind of in that cycle, which I call the prosperity trap. I will explain it. So back to the beginning here, 18th of November, that is the conjunction, and that's a 90-day period, and it's only 50 days astronomically. And then the next phase will be in February, 14th, is it the 14th? Yeah, 16th of February. So it's kind of when Saturn is coming back to Aries also. So that is the evening star. That's when Quetzalcoatl judges himself. So if at that first period, the morality is in question. So it's the moment when it comes out, oh my God, what did I do? And then the judgment is when in the evening star period. So it's all about fairness. Again, the Libra zone of the 360-degree wheel. And so it's all about diplomacy and fairness and social behavior, the we versus me. And then the next phase, that will be in the fall. So 21st of October, that is the inferior conjunction. And that is a very short period. And that is the sacrifice and rebirth. So that's when he either burns himself or he sails off, and then whatever other way he becomes the god again. But that's where the cycle has to be broken. It's a short period. So people that are born in this Venus period, or were born in the Mayan when they were actively applying it. So it's really rare in the chart. And it's also labeled north. North is the time when it's barren, so it's not the most friendly, the friendliest direction. And the prosperity trap is this: hard times make strong men. Strong men make strong times. Strong times make, like, what is it? Healthy kingdoms, or healthy times, strong times. And that's when people get lazy. When we get the curve, and when we say, like, okay, we're like really doing good. How good is good? So we have to be mindful that we live in a balance. And I'm sure there are people that are really capable of doing that, but a lot of people that get to power, the power goes to their head, and then they go overboard. They are losing, the ego gets bigger, gets blown up. So that's where we all, as a collective, where we can make a powerful impact. And so then the last period then is the morning star, and that's when the morning star, it's called the heliacal rising. Helios is the sun for our new four ladies. When Venus rises before the sun, it's called heliacal, Helios, sun rising. So that's when there's trouble in the land. There's like bad omen. There's the king is in trouble, and when they do everything to save the king. So yeah, that's what they do. Then that is when also it's a long period. It's like a birth. It's a 9-month period. So that's a long time where you can be tempted, whether you're a politician or whatever, king, or even a boss in a company, or a family dad, or you don't have to be a guy, by the way. So when we are people, the fame gets to our head, say an actor or whatever. So it's a long period that we can get into a temptation. And we did that already. That's the overview. No, I think I have time. Yes, I have time. What I do is
the website
it's on the last slide, but we can do like a real short look at this one. That is what I'm talking about. Uranus makes nice contacts. So these symbols mean sextiles. That's the 60-degree angle when the planets are they can be in a supportive angle, so they give each other a hand, like, hey, yeah, come on, I give you this chance. And when there's a trine, it's like really flowing energy. And the planets that I'm picturing, so Saturn, that is coming up, is the third sextile between the Uranus change maker, immediate disruption, but also genius, innovation, high tech, outer space, higher communication, like hunches, intuition, and Saturn, work, duty, responsibility, structures, government, banking system. On the 19th, that's a supportive contact. All these, we have been pretty much looking at mundane, mundos, world events, but all this we can take into our personal chart also. So wherever these planets are in our own chart, and you have seen in the beginning, our new people. So you have seen in the beginning you have the 12 fields, and the planets they cover life areas. So they are operating in life areas in our own chart, and we feel it when we have Saturn that can be limiting in our second house of talent and self-esteem and money. There can be limitations, or we can use it to build a good structure. And so that's coming up now. It's a good aspect. It's called an aspect when planets speak to each other. And then so that's where we as regular people can make a difference locally. That means the best thing I see, we cannot write to the Trump administration or so. They will probably not even read it. But we have local administrators. So I think that's a good starting point, because with Pluto in Aquarius, we also will be very decentralized in the upcoming future. The government structures will not survive that much longer anymore under the new regime here. So just because I cannot really go into the details, I will do this in an extended version. Either I do it and record it and upload it on YouTube, but then just see the dates. Also ask Laura to send an email to Laura for the slides, so you can read it up and also email me. But I want you guys to know in January and in the summertime, July, I find very turbulent energetically. There's a lot happening, and with happening, we have opportunities. If there's crisis, there's always opportunity. So that, and then I wanted to, to Pluto. Pluto, because Pluto is so powerful and so slow, it is like a burning glass. It's hovering on a degree in the zodiac for so long that it has a deep effect. And there's one thing that I wanted to mention also in July, on the 20th, there will be a Pluto-Jupiter opposition. So Pluto is power, can be power struggle. The opposition is asking for balance. So Pluto wants expansion and to expand and more, better, higher, faster. And Pluto is realistic. It is more intense. So there, we personally, in a personal life, we just have to be sure that we don't overdo it. We cannot firsthand control what's happening, what the administration is doing, what country they're invading, or I don't know, whatever. So what decisions they make. But we can, as I said, we can do it for ourselves. That's where the first ripple is: family, neighborhood, and then local governments, local offices. And we ourselves be exactly that, what we want to see out there. So watch power games from our side and others, and staying ethical. That's so important from now on, and even when we go back, because with the bilingual form that we're taking, being human, and the technology, it's not going away. We have to find a way to ethically implement the technology in our life. So we have to find ethical ways. So, and not be afraid of artificial intelligence, rather use it for our good. And it is possible. So, and then also choose sustainable growth. And so Jupiter has to be pulled in. So we just make sure we bring the optimism, we bring the expansion, but we have to be realistic also, because Pluto will correct us otherwise. And I think, let's see, how are we doing in terms of time? Do we have?
You can do one more
Yeah. Okay. So maybe I do the eclipses. 4 eclipses. There's not that much really. So we have the first one coming up February 17th already. That's at the tail end of Aquarius. And I found that it is right on the moon of the US. The US has a chart also, of course, to our new people. And so the moon represents the people. So it has a square to the change maker and rebel Uranus. So that means that the people, the people in the US, we will be probably very reckless. I also found that the eclipse is, okay, this is kind of technical. The square is a stressful but activating aspect between the two planets involved in the eclipse, and we call moon and sun planet. So they are in the same degree at Aquarius 28 that I circled, and that same degree is Vance's ascendant 27 Leo, very close, and his Pluto. So I wouldn't be too surprised if that gives power to Vance. And guess who will not have the power then if the vice president gets it? So it could be that there is the onset of maybe a handover of power. Could be. So the next eclipse is March 3rd, and that has China. It's right on China's moon. The eclipse is at 12, almost 13 degrees of Virgo. Is it too technical for you new people? Yeah. So at least, I mean, know that the eclipse is eclipsing something. It's like cutting something off. It's like ending new and a new. And so China's Saturn will be impacted also in the ninth house. That ninth house speaks for foreign affairs. Like, what do we do with other countries? It's international. It's an international in a country's chart. It's the international place. So, and then also Maduro's second house of money and income on bank account, personal resources. So Maduro personally and China as the country, I found, do have a strong connection with the eclipse on March 3rd. And it's the end and the beginning, because we have a lot of things, an emphasis on Pisces, the very last sign of the zodiac, and Aries, the very first sign of the zodiac. So, and what news will be coming out about China in terms of foreign affairs and in terms of resources, Maduro's resources. So I would be curious to find out. Third eclipse is August 12th, and that is 20 Leo, at 20 Leo. And that is trining the US Chiron. We talked about Chiron. It's the wounded healer. So Chiron stands for healing. And I think that is a good thing. The eclipse is also near Trump's Mars and square his midheaven. The midheaven is our career point to the new people. So it's a square is stress there. So that is what I saw with Vance before, and now seeing that on Trump's chart. Interesting. So that could be, it's always the eclipse, you can say, like a totally magnified, potentized lunation. And lunation is a full moon or a new moon. So that brings change, because it's also the planting season, the lunation phases. But then eclipse is like really making a change. And so with Vance, it is, let's see, and square his Mars and MC axis. So, okay, so no, the eclipse is conjunct Vance's Venus. Venus is law of attraction, benefits also, partnerships. And so Vance is, Trump and Vance both are affected by this eclipse on August 12th. So that is, I mean, don't you think that this is kind of an indicator that there could be some kind of like handing over the baton is taking place? Plus the what is called the ICMC axis is exactly the axis, the home country territory, and the leadership the highest position, where the reputation, the limelight. So, and then also Putin is involved because he has his Pluto, the power planet, the personal power planet, also affected by the eclipse. And last but not least, Maduro, and guess what? In his second house of personal resources again. So I don't know, we will see. Maybe there is something coming up. And the last eclipse is the 27th of August. That is taking place on 4 Pisces Virgo. So Pisces Virgo axis. And that is the last one in this axis, because as I mentioned, the nodes will go to Leo Aquarius in July. So then we have the last on this axis. The Sun is conjunct Mercury, and Mercury is involved because it rules Virgo, and Virgo being part of the eclipse also. So and then we have the eclipse applies to a square to Uranus. So a square, as I mentioned, is stressful. If the eclipse is
What does this all mean?
Yeah, we're getting there. So that's what I'm getting there. So Mercury stands for transportation, but I still wanted to say what we are looking at. Vance is involved again, and again Maduro. So it is again the second house, the money house for Maduro. And in Vance's case, it is the North Node. It is his compass, spiritual compass. So these things are involved. That means that for all of us in general, there could be definite a quantum leap in transportation and communication, because it is about Mercury is involved, and Uranus is in Gemini. So that's all about communication. And then I see that these like Vance and Maduro, that we will see. I don't know, will he get a fine, or will just all his wealth be seized? I don't know. But I found it interesting. And I find it very interesting that in Maduro's case, it's repeatedly his money house. So that is kind of interesting. I think I cut it here, and I just